when the first sort of AIDS prevention campaign in Britain happened, it was really, ironically, under Thatcher's regime, who was not a great, fan of the dispossessed, but it was a really amazing campaign. It scared the living daylights out of so many people. It was a big iceberg. It just said AIDS, and the image of that, like, this is only the tip of the iceberg. It was really terrifying, and my whole generation became really, really active in making sure we were negative and
bowls of condoms everywhere.
Condoms everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that nearly as much anymore. But I think it really is a thing about education and about making it kind of cool to actually worry about your sexual health. I think everyone is so encouraged to be so cavalier. I think we don't have as much of a kind of responsibility in Hollywood and the images we put out to the world. I saw an interesting thing about the HBO show Girls, which I really love, but I'm very vexed about the fact that you see them having sex and there's no sort of condom use and no kind of mention of it, when actually that should be a very huge part of those girls' lifestyles.
That would be a great vehicle to communicate that.
Yeah, I think actually I read a thing, but in the first season they did have it, and in the second season it kind of, I guess it's not so sexy.
Lots of things always fall back into Hollywood, as the movies and the culture to communicate. I mean, how important is Hollywood? I mean, would amfAR be where it was without Elizabeth Taylor and Sharon
Absolutely
Stone?
not. I mean, Sharon brought, Mathilde brought the focus of science and scientists to the table, and Elizabeth brought Hollywood, and she brought the notion of advocacy and the ability to get people's attentions and how to tell our story in such a compelling way. So Dr. Krim was focused on research here and close to home. In fact, Dr. Landau, who you saw in the film, who was the one actually whose research ultimately was used to cure Timothy Brown in Berlin, that one individual who was cured. It all happened here in New York. But ultimately, whatever learnings come, it gets leveraged and it becomes, he'll help people everywhere. So.
I think as well, what was interesting, I was just saying to Simon backstage, that Elizabeth Taylor, not just in terms of AIDS, but actually changed how people use their celebrity now. I think she was the first celebrity who actually said, I hate a lot of the things about being famous, but I'm going to use them for a positive, to leave a positive mark on society. And now I think that is actually much more of a kind of a part of what you do as a celebrity. It's very much expected.
That's a good point.
And it's something that I think people actually look forward to becoming famous in order to be able to do. So it's amazing that she's actually a vanguard in that way, as well as in terms of AIDS.